think I have another question. So I'm taking a communications course right now, and one of the things we're learning is like the new platforms that who's reading what scientifically. Science has never really had a platform other than like the science section in newspapers up until this era of digital communication. So my kid took it upon herself to download TikTok onto my thing because my primary audience is, earth science age. So like end of middle school, beginning of high school. And those kids are primarily socializing and learning a lot of stuff on TikTok. So is TikTok going to be one of your platforms possibly? Is it already? And or like
it should be, and we should do it, and hopefully we will do it.
So I uploaded a music video because I promote, music and art and everything. I uploaded a music video from his brother's business, Upstate Sound. They just put out a music with this crazy rap video, but it was awesome. And I like the song. Just it hooked me because one lyric is like something about Casey Anthony, and it just hooked me. I was like, that's hilarious. So that I put that on TikTok, like a minute of whatever that is. And then I put some short clip from one of our podcast episodes. I think it was about origin stories. Actually, I think it was that one. Or create your thing. That was what it was. And I put that on TikTok. But yes, I should probably upload more to TikTok. There is a guy that's been on here multiple times throughout this event, Sovereign Comics and Tier, and he actually uses TikTok. He finds like cosplayers and they actually cosplay stuff of like his characters. I would like for that to happen to us, but like we have to release our comics first.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I would like to do TikTok. I just have to figure out what I would do, and people aren't going to want to listen to my mouth move.
Monotone.
Yeah.
What would you
right now it's slowly fading away.
What would you consider your like target audience?
65-year-olds.
Probably like 18 to 35 would be like the age demographic. Male, female wouldn't matter. The story's pretty interesting. Doesn't have like any specific target for that. And then probably, I don't know. That's probably it. Like it's pretty broad. Like it's not like a.
I think YouTube is one of the primary platforms for that age group from the study.
We use that definitely. So we're going to be I'll be creating videos for YouTube too. So probably add clips from those videos on TikTok as well.
Cool.
Yeah, we're also going to start using Twitch. This is actually streaming on Twitch. I am the only viewer on Twitch. But yeah, I know Twitch is a huge thing. I just have to like start using it. But I'm doing like 20 other things, so it's like.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like you guys have. So when I went through Instagram to join I was trying to figure out like where I would be to tell my other friends if they're gonna join the podcast or whatever to watch. I'm like, where am I directing them? So I went through the thing on Instagram, and I wasn't sure if it was like through the Google Podcast, I think it said, or I wasn't sure.
Oh,
but it seems like you guys have a lot of platforms.
Yeah, this is going to be released next year because all of these panels and stuff are going to be podcast episodes. So technically, you're on a podcast right now. And it's going to be on YouTube, Anchor, and Anchor spreads it out to like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Bullhorn, which I didn't even know was a thing, and like 7 other things. So, yeah.
It's neat. So, when do you have a date for the game now?
Yesterday, through our not really planned panel, we It was planned to do. It was just like I really wanted a trailer, and we just didn't have enough stuff for it. He's busy. The Kickstarter is launching for that July 5th next year. The game is launching October 17th or 20 something around there. The game will be on our platform. That would be one of the first things, probably one of the first thing or one of the first things that are under our like paywall. So yeah.
Neat. So in the meantime, are you still making comics and producing them?
Oh yeah.
Yep. Yeah. There's so much.
I just signed up for like email notifications for comics. So I'm assuming
that's for whatever I put in the newsletter that week or
like if we get
whenever I do it
on the site, then we put them in the newsletter and be like, hey, here's some new comics.
So there's new comics, or there's new podcast episodes. We're like, this is the last thing we're doing basically this year. So like after this, we're like disappearing. Like tomorrow, I'm actually drinking live on this thing. So yeah, nobody's really seen me drunk, but they will.
The world will.
Because I really don't drink. And so we're releasing 3 or 4 comics next year. One is being worked on next year. It's my tattoo artist Shane Murphy. His it's him. He's like the character, and the second issue of that is coming out because everybody really wanted the second issue, and I couldn't do it this year. It's called Money.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah. My brother wanted the second one to come out. After he read the first one, he's like, where's the second one? I was like, do you have $3,000? And he's like, what? And I was like, it costs a lot to make a comic book. I can write down the prices and you could just like give me the money.
It's a lot of work in general. If you're not going to put the money into it, then it's a ridiculous amount of work. And most people would prefer to pay than put the work in. What was I going to say? My cat is meowing at my door. Crap, forgot what I was gonna say. Only one more comic that you're producing, you're saying?
For
This
next year. Yeah.
Oh, for next year.
Yeah, like I was trying to at least release. Oh, wow, that wasn't English. I was trying to release a new comic this year of one of our solo series, but people's deadlines and money, and I have to pay rent, but at the same time, I'm like trying to pay an artist. And then my letterer is busy doing this like massive graphic novel, anthology thing, not graphic novel. Cthulhu Invades Oz. So he's like, ooh. Yeah, I really wanted that to like get funded, and they got like $24,000 in Kickstarter. So I was like, oh, good.
That's great.
Yeah. So he's like, I'm a little busy right now. And I was like, yeah, just wait until next year. But like, I want all the stuff out like January or February. So we're going to have like a ton of stuff coming out around that time, hopefully.
Well, honestly, it's either that or what we'll do is we'll be finishing it up then and then doing like big launch plans. And if we have we should have our Patreon style thing set up. And at that point, what we might do is whoever part of that already, maybe we'll show them like earlier and get them like early access, and then do like a big launch for when we like release them on the world.
So you guys had done the thing where you were gonna have artists put artwork into the game somehow. Yeah. How many artists were going to have pieces in the game?
Anyone interested? I can always switch them out and stuff. I can always say like one got stolen by somebody that robbed.
Yeah, because like there's a bunch of different stuff. Like we have like the movie theater, so there'll be like indie films. There's a radio, so we'll have like indie music.
That's actually my favorite thing about that game.
Yeah, and then there's the art gallery, so there'll be like indie artistry that's up there. But it's cool because like it doesn't have to even be comic related. Like one of our original artists who we don't use for comics, but he has like this skateboard-esque style of painting or like, creating art. So like that stuff would look cool in a museum in our world. So it's stuff that could be like cycled out all the time, which is kind of cool. So it's basically whoever's interested in showcasing their art, we could put it in there and just have it randomly display. And yeah, have stuff stolen from time to time.
That's neat. I don't know why, but in my head I was thinking like a Harry Potter scenario where it's like moving pictures almost. Like I don't have an iPhone, but how iPhones can do that 3D image thing.
Oh my god. Yeah, I the other day, maybe like the other week, it was a while ago, I drew this collection of eggs. There it is. I drew a collection of eggs, and it actually ended up like the shading in this was good enough quality that Facebook thought it was 3D, so it turned it into a 3D image, and you could like move it, and it looks like it's 3D, and I was so excited.
That's neat.
Yeah, that's the test. You got to get Facebook approved if your shading is good.
I gravitated away from Facebook this past like year and a half or so. I've been mainly on Instagram. It just seems almost just easier and maybe less political.
Yeah, me and the guy that was just on here from Sovereign Comics, we actually use Instagram a bit more. I was only really using Instagram, and then I was like, I'm gonna start using Facebook a bit more, and I did, but like, and Twitter, but I can't stand Twitter.
Yeah, I think I use Instagram more like on a daily basis, but I use Facebook more for like reaching out, connecting with people. Like I'm in a bunch of oh my god, cat. Is that a Maine Coon?
He had to be a part of this.
Is that a Maine Coon cat?
He's yeah, he's little for a Maine Coon, so he was a stray, and he's definitely got the Norwegian forest cat thing going on. But yeah, he's small. He was almost a year old when I took him in, so I think he was underfed and stuff. But I think there were breeders, and he got out from somewhere in Schenectady. There's a lot of breeding going on. Animal breeding. I guess people breeding too. But
it's Schenectady.
I was going to say that's a good way to describe what happens in Schenectady.
Yeah, if you didn't know, all the cities in our universe are based on cities that are like around upstate New York, because that's where I'm from.
Wow.
So the first city that's in the game is Schenectady. Like the streets are the same. It's just like the buildings are different depending on what it is.
Yeah, so like what is it? One of the churches was turned to a clock tower. City Hall still there.
Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah.
So we're so the art gallery is in downtown Schenectady. There's this big white building that looks just like it could be an art gallery, but I think it was the old Bank of America or something.
Yeah, was it next to like a court or something? A courthouse? I'm trying to remember where it is.
No, that's like up further.
That's where the
it's like across from like Puzzles or something. It's kind of across from Puzzles Bakery.
Oh, it is a bank.
Is it? Okay. So
it's the Bank of America, isn't it?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. So that is the art gallery, and then SEFQ is whatever bank that we're using in the universe.
That's so cool.
What's the hospital? I forgot the name of the regular hospital.
We don't use Ellis Hospital because they would probably sue us.
Mandel, I think it's Mandel
Hospital. General.
So that's Ellis Hospital. So we took the same location, and like our character ends up there. The firehouse. Except the
firehouse is still the same. Where the MVP building is the news station. So it's like the whatever news station that we made up.
The Daily Journal.
Because it's a big building, so I'm like, that definitely could be a muse.
That's
like a
wild. That's awesome because I feel like Schenectady is underrated, but at one point in time, it was kind of like.
It was like a New York City that, like, I'm part of a Facebook group that's like back in the day, like Schenectady. That's not what it's called, but
I
and
follow something like that too.
And it's like shows like I just like looking at the pictures of like the 50s and stuff. I'm like, why can't it still look like this?
Well, I grew up in Mechanicville, and even Mechanicville used to be like not a major city, but a really big city because it was where one of the trains would stop by, and it was a passenger train. Mm-hmm. So like they actually used to have traffic in and out of there all the time. And way back in the day, it actually. So I found out that in order to be called the city of Mechanicville, it needed to have over 5,000 people in it. And it has way less than 3,000 now. So at one point it had over 5,000 and it registered to become a city, got the title, and now it just still holds it. But yeah, it used to be like a booming little place, and now it's like a little rundown city.
It's like Troy too.
Yeah.
Troy used to be huge. There was like the mafia that you hear of was in Troy. Like a lot. Like my great granddad was actually, when he was a kid, like 8 to 10 years old, was leaning on somebody's car, like, because it was a fancy like limousine, and it was blacked out windows trying to look in, and babyface Nelson ended up kicking him in the butt and saying, "Get the heck out of here, kid!" Like he literally that was where like the big name mafiosos used to come to. Like what's that street right when you cross the bridge off the highway? Hoosick Street, the one that goes up.
That's like the main street.
Yeah,
there's like King Street or something.
Where like there's a Popeyes and McDonald's, like a bunch of restaurants.
Yeah, that's Hoosick.
There used to be like strip clubs and like porn video theaters there, like back in the day, because it was like a red light district up that street. Yeah, like it was some crazy stuff used to go down in Troy.
Most of Troy is now red light district.
When you drive in though. When you drive into Troy and you look at the street, the way the streets are numbered, like right in a row, like they should be, and then you compare that to like Albany or Schenectady, you're like, somebody actually thought this one through.
But Troy used to be huge. It was massive.
I had some invites to some art things going on there. They were doing like a Friday night just art outside type thing. A bunch of my art friends just paint outside. I didn't do it. I haven't been doing anything since COVID. I used to do a lot of tables and whatnot. Do you guys ever run tables?
Not yet. This whole year, like this year, we were supposed to. But yeah, we didn't do that. We have a whole plan for it too, but couldn't do that this year. So
it's kind of hard to do until you like get the hang of it. Can be a little tricky.
Yeah, but like we're gonna use people that are all part of our platform. So like if somebody's in like California, which I know a few that are, they would be able to set up a con. They would be able to set up a con at like San Diego, let's say. Not like it'll be that one. I can't think of another one.
Yeah, but like there's like a bunch of conventions all over the country, and we have a bunch of artists and creators all over the country. So basically, our idea is that if they can't afford to go to the convention, maybe collectively we put money together. We get a couple comics from a bunch of our creators printed, and then they can have a table, and it's not just their 1 or 2 comics they might have, but it could be a collection of SeerNova comics, and then it would be something that if Greg and I are available, we can go out there, but if not, we can literally send them like a sign that they can have and hang at their table, and then that way we can be appearing at a bunch of conventions all over the place without having to be all over the place because our creators are everywhere.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's a very good technique.
Some
guerrilla marketing.
Do
we
you
just
guys,
say it at the same time.
do you guys go to Comic-Cons though yourself?
We went to like 3. Well, he went to New York. I couldn't go because I was a broke ass bitch. But I went to Saratoga once or twice. I went to
Albany.
I went to Albany, like toy and comic show or whatever. That was the first one I ever went.
Master Daniel Pacina at the Saratoga one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's the guy that the old Sega Mortal Kombat games where it was like a picture of somebody fighting and then they just kept taking like cutscenes of it. He was actually like the ninja that played like Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Reptile, all like the different colors. And he played Johnny Cage. and somebody else. But we met the guy that like was the actual fighter that did those things and like did the mocap stuff. And then yeah, he actually, I think he follows us on Instagram. Like he follows my personal account on Instagram, which is awesome.
That is cool.
Yeah, he had like an ice ball that somebody made him during one of the conventions, and he brings it to every con that he goes to. And he's got a cool Instagram. If you look up like hashtag steal my kung fu, he has like stuff where he shows like how he uses some of the weapons from the game, which are awesome. He does like the over here thing. It's like
almost all of the creators that I met, well, the artists that I've met at Comic-Cons have essentially, like, they used to work for DC or Marvel, and they're like, don't do it. Do your own thing, publish yourself, or find a different publisher, because they'll try to steal your shit.
Yeah.
And I found that to be almost encouraging. Like, all right, I can do this thing without trying to make big leagues or whatever. But
yeah, we're actually coming out with a thing that's part of that Patreon type service thing on our website, and it's going to be like a services type thing, and we're going to do it for musicians, but there's also a thing we're trying to find, for musicians, but there's other things, and we're actually trying to find like artists, and like if like you actually want to be part of that, you could like figure out page rate, like what would be good for however many pages, whatever the comic would be, like say like a 4-page comic, how much you would charge to do the art, stuff like that. Then you would have credit under that, and you would obviously get paid for whatever it is.
that would
So
be
yeah.
cool. I know of an artist who has done Patreon before, and she said that it was a lot of work for her to do on her own. But if it's like a team effort type thing, that would be probably
because it would be through our website, so it would just be another like promotional type thing that we have to offer. Yeah.
I'd be interested in that for sure.
Yeah.
So what are your roles?
I'm a writer of all of the stuff that we have, and he's the editor in chief, or whatever you want to call it. And he does the web design stuff, so he built the website and paid for the LLC. He did all the like beginning stuff really, and I'm paying the art for most of it. And then I do the social media for our stuff, but he just helps me with like, this is what you should do to like market.
yeah. I'm like the consultant now. I did a lot of the upfront work, getting the website build, getting the LLC, getting all the stuff like that in order, and then basically just kind of help guide the business stuff for Greg. Like he sets up all the conventions, and then he has me talk. What was it? And then Greg basically wrote all of the comics that we'll be doing and came up with the whole idea to begin with. And then I just kind of edit the comics, and then he works with the artist. I review the artwork. We just kind of go back and forth like that while we build this whole universe of fun stuff. I didn't know there was one coming in March. Tennessee is tricky because like Tennessee is open. Everything in Tennessee is open except for Nashville and Memphis, not Knoxville. I think Memphis is the other one that's closed. So there's like 2 cities in the entire place that are locked down. Other than that, everything else is open. Like if I go 20 minutes in a different direction, they don't care about masks. Gyms are open, restaurants are like, because no one's getting sick. Then the mayor of Nashville got caught lying about how many people got sick on Broadway, and there's literally an email with him in it going, "We're not sharing these numbers with the public, right? Because only 20 people on the entire Broadway strip got sick." Yeah.
Why wouldn't you want to share the numbers?
Because they want to lock it down. They want to be able to. So what he just did recently was he increased property taxes by 35%. So small businesses will get kicked out. They can take over the land, the city, sell that to apartment buildings and major corporations. It's like that's why people don't understand is like there's like nothing. It's so devastatingly like bad. Like this mayor is like absolutely terrible. And yeah, like nothing bad has been happening in Tennessee. That's why it's all open, except for the city that's run by a crazy mayor.
That's insane.
Yeah. Schenectady has that like terrible mayor, but
well, yeah, but you got New York. You got.
Or he did have it. I don't know if it's the same dude.
Emperor Cuomo
Schenectady is
over everything.
It's very diverse. Like, it's just weird here because like there's many different types of people from different backgrounds that are dealing with different things, and it really shouldn't be the same person telling everybody what we should be doing. It should be different. We all have different interests.
Yeah, what happened in New York, which is the biggest problem, is that there's like 7 districts of New York, not like congressional districts, but like legislative districts where there's legislative bodies handling major laws, and essentially all of them signed over all of their powers to Emperor Cuomo, and so he's been doing everything, and that's the reason why the lockdowns have been so vicious in New York, and why like the death rates for friggin' nursing homes have been through the roof, because he's been forcing them by mandate to take COVID patients into their care, which is ludicrous, because that's
what I don't understand is why we don't have more hydroelectric here.
There's actually really cool in New York. There's a company called the Just Water Company.
That's Jaden Smith's company.
Yes, a friend of mine was the VP of marketing for them. She's got a picture of herself, Will Smith, Jaden Smith, and like 6 other people that like worked for the company. And it was very cool because I learned about the fact that I think is it Hoosick Valley?
Glens Falls?
Glens Falls, there it is, Glens Falls, yeah. They basically took a bunch of old manufacturing or like textile mills, and they repurposed them for bottling plants, and then they kept the water they get for their bottling is from that area, from that
and it's
river.
all green energy because it's all coming from their hydroelectric.
Yeah. I thought that was really cool. Like that stuff is like truly green and very cool. Like they got biodegradable bottles, like for the most part. I think they say it's 80% biodegradable, which obviously
the cap is plastic, I believe.
I think the cap is technically a plastic made from like sugar cane or something weird like that.
That's neat. I didn't.
Yeah, like it's technically not fully biodegradable, but it's still like much more than.
I met someone that worked for the Just company when I did a table. I was running a table at Gem Fest, which is one of the festivals that they were having out there. And a guy just walked up to my table and he was like looking at my upcycled artwork, and he's like, you should do something for Just Water. Like they love this upcycled artwork. They have it all over our offices and stuff. And I'm like, okay. And I just never followed through
honestly, you should just get one really cool piece of artwork and just send it to one of them for free. Like I have a friend who's like a social media influencer. Like she has a decent number of or decent following, and people send her free stuff, and then she's so excited to get it, she takes a picture of it, posts it on her platform, and suddenly that person's getting sales because they gave something for free to somebody that they knew that they would actually appreciate. They're not just sending it to a big time player, they're sending it to somebody who they know would enjoy it. And if you send it to, like, same with Ecovative, by the way, that's the name of that company that does the green packaging, where it's like mycelium.
Mycelium?
Mycelium, whatever it's called. Yeah, that stuff. All I know is it's the roots of fungus, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
He gets it. He gets it.
Yeah, I'm actually growing mushrooms right now.
Nice.
I've been an entrepreneur of growing my own mushrooms for like the last year or so. I have a garden. Like I grow fruits and vegetables and stuff, but when I started learning that mushrooms actually help your garden, I was like, my mind was just like,
yeah, they break down a bunch of the nutrients that can't otherwise be absorbed by your other plants, and then they help them get absorbed.
Mm-hmm.
Circle of life.
It is.
Well, thank you so much for coming on and interviewing us with my almost non-existent voice.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
You can totally come on again at some point next year if you want.
Awesome. Yeah.
Talk about recycled plants or whatever.
Okay. All right. Have a good one, guys.
You too.